Okay, so the question is this: do I need to be making money before I file my LLC? And the answer to that kind of varies because it can mean two things. Some people say, when they say, do I need to be making money? They mean, do I need to be making a profit? Should I have like lots of customers and making 5 figures a month before I form my LLC? Some other people are just like when in my business do I form my LLC? And this is my answer to that. Well, and the first thing I would say is don't just file an LLC because it's the most popular thing to do. Because you see everyone doing it because it is pretty simple in most states. Now LLCs are state regulated, so it's not federal, and so the rules vary from state to state. In Alabama, you fill out paperwork with the Secretary of State's office. In some states, you have to give notice that you're forming an LLC, which can take a few more weeks. So it varies. But you don't want to just form that LLC because you see that's what everyone else is doing. You want to do what's best for you. And when you're making that decision, you have some things to consider, which I talk about in the incubator. I talk about and go into more details between the different types of business entities. But that's the first thing I would say. Don't just form an LLC because you see everyone doing it. That's number one. Number two, I would tell you that LLCs, the whole purpose of it is to limit your liability. That's what that LLC stands for, limited liability company. And what it does is it it puts a barrier between your business and, let's see, this is the barrier. The water bottle is the barrier, and this is your business, and this is your personal. And this water bottle is making sure that nothing over here gets into this. Nothing from your business gets into your personal. So that's what this LLC does. It limits your liability. So we go to the question of whether or not you need to be making money before you get this barrier, right? The question then becomes is, do you need protection? Do you need protection? So when you think about that, it's not just before you make any money. How about when you're entering contracts? Are you entering business relationships under your personal name? What happens if something goes wrong? Now, instead of suing your business, and stopping here, now they're going to sue you because there is no barrier, right? So that's just one thing to consider. And the other thing you consider, maybe you're not making 5 figures a month. Maybe you made your first sale. And what I'm doing is like worst case scenario, right? Because you always want to be prepared. So maybe you made your first sale and something went horribly wrong. And now they want to sue you. Well, are they going to sue you personally? Or are they going to sue the business? I would say that before you enter into, so some people business, it takes a while to launch, right? So you don't just go and start selling stuff and enter into contracts. You do the kind of the legwork first, and so in doing that initial legwork of putting your business together, I can understand waiting. But if you're going to enter into business contracts and if you're going to start selling products, you want to make sure that you are protected. And now I've heard some people say that you shouldn't get an LLC until you're making money. And the reason that they say that is because an LLC costs money, not just the filing fee that you pay to form the business, but it also costs money on an annual basis. Because when you file the LLC, what it does is it lets the state know that, hey, there's a business here running and operating, someone that you can tax, and so they want their money on a regular basis. Which is why before you even think about forming an LLC or anything like that, you want to make sure you have a viable business. And that's what anything. So whether it's an LLC or whether it is a trademark or anything of that nature, you want to make sure that you have a viable business. Is your business sustainable? Do people want what you're selling? Do you know who you're selling it to and how much you're selling it for? Just simple things of that nature. And if you have not thought about that, I would say pump the brakes on going out and getting a business, forming an LLC just because you have an idea. You want to flesh that thing out a little bit. And I'm not talking about a business plan for like an investor. I'm talking about a business plan for you. Like you need to know this stuff, which is why, let me see. That's why I did this. This is the business plan workbook that I created so that you can get the answers to all of those questions. You know what to ask, ask and answer. So that's what the business plan workbook is for. If you're not in that phase of your business yet, you haven't done that, I highly recommend you get the business plan workbook. All right. So the takeaways from today's video, very short video, but the takeaways from the video are: one, you don't just want to get an LLC because it's the end thing to do. You want to make sure that it's the best thing for your business. And when you're making that consideration, you want to think about it from a legal standpoint and from a tax standpoint. So you want to talk to your lawyer and your CPA to make sure that you're doing the best thing for your business. So that's number one. Number two, I would say that that limited liability company, remember, the purpose of it, this is the liability company, right, is to keep your business separated from your personal. So that means that if you have any liabilities on the business side, then you can sleep at night knowing that your home is protected because your personal is not taken is protected. The limited liability company keeps your personal liabilities out of your business liabilities out of your personal assets, which is really important when you're doing business. It allows you the opportunity to take risks as an entrepreneur. But there's some things that you want to do to make sure that once you file that paperwork, that you're actually staying protected. So, and we talk about that too in the incubator. Sometimes I get the question, do I need to get an LLC or a trademark? And I would just tell you very quickly that they are not comparable. Like, it's not, do I get an LLC or do I get a trademark? They're not the same thing. The LLC, as I said before, is when it's state regulated, is more in line with your business to let the state know that there's a business being operated. So it's not an either or thing. A trademark protects your brand identifiers, while the LLC makes sure that your personal assets or your business liabilities are not affecting your personal assets. Meaning, if you get sued in the business, you don't have to worry about selling your house to take care of that business debt. There's some things you have to do in order to keep that liability. But to answer the question about whether or not you should get an LLC or a trademark, they're not the same thing. So it's when do you get an LLC and when do you get a trademark? It's not an either or type of thing. So if you are in business, if you're new to business, you're getting ready to start a business, I really, really invite you to join the Launch Legally Incubator. That space is different from this space here where we're kind of quickly going over stuff. In the incubator, when we do our trainings, we go deeper into those trainings and you get to ask in-depth questions and you have access to me on a more regular basis. You get discounted consultations. So if you have a one-on-one question, something that's specific to your business that needs to be kept confidential, you can schedule a one-on-one consultation at a discounted price. You get discounted legal services, and this is all for the length of the program. You get done for you. So we have videos and we have courses inside of the program, and I do it with you, meaning that you get to go through them, and during our office hours, you get to ask questions about the content. It's really a great space for people who are trying to get both their legal and their business house in order. It's not just, how can I say this? Like, it's more of a support system. So you ever been like, man, I wish I can get a second set of eyes on this, right? With the hot seat, you can. And I figured out that the hot seat worked when I was hosting a mastermind years ago. And that's kind of what the incubator is kind of like. It's like a mastermind where you have a group of people coming together and making sure that we're all winning. But in the mastermind, I did this thing called hot seats, where we would bring 4 people in and we would go around and critique their businesses and answer any questions they have. So they say, you know what, I'm just really having a hard time getting people on my email list. Then we will go and we say, okay, what are you doing now? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And so many people were able to accomplish some amazing things because of that hot seat and that mastermind setup. So I wanted to bring that to you guys in this level, but I didn't want to just do business. I want to do legal and business. And you really don't see that these days. You see a lot of people talking about business, but they don't give you the legal side. So what I'll do at the incubator is make sure that you thrive in business while avoiding legal pitfalls, because at the end of the day, that's what we need to do, right? So if you want to join the incubator, click the link in my bio. If you're on Instagram, go to my bio, click the link, and click the incubator, and then sign up. There are 3 ways to pay people, 3 ways to join. You can pay full out, you can do up to 3 payments, or you can make small monthly payments for the length of the program. You have no excuse to get the legal help you need. No excuse. Okay? All right, that's it. I'm going to, I got more stuff to do. So I'll talk to you all later. Take care.